Do we look okay? So, here we are. Not such good times at the moment. All the taekwondo classes that we run have been cancelled because of the current situation around the world at the moment. So I thought I would kick things off with a short video, might be quite a long video, about certain things, history of me in martial arts maybe, before I really start distributing some stuff, hopefully, to all the members who actually come to my classes. So I thought I'd sit here and tell you all about, I don't know, what I got into, how I got into martial arts years ago, and perhaps that might give you some information, sort of perhaps some inspiration maybe, to sort of continue training, continue working hard, even though we're not currently in our usual weekly class routine. Sitting here is a bit boring, isn't it? Looking at my kitchen. So let's go do something else. Edie working hard there.
Hey, did you video that?
Oh my god, yeah. This is a bit better than sitting in my kitchen. You might hear a bit of breathing. Trying to improve my fitness. And a bit of fresh air is good. And that's one of the things that I look back on in my time doing some martial arts, is that it has loads of advantages and I love it. But in our country, the majority of our training time is spent indoors. That was a fail. The majority of our training time is spent indoors, so maybe this opportunity that's been thrust upon us will give us the chance to find new ways of teaching, new ways of training, and maybe as students we can take a bit more responsibility for our own progression. Love that corner. So, yeah, this new opportunity, yeah. So yeah, it's very easy for us to see the negative in all these things right now. And yeah, it is extremely terrible, the situation that we're in, but I expect it will get worse, a lot worse. We're only the start, I'm sure. But to try to keep some sense of normality, some sense of routine, or maybe carve a new routine. The routine, I think, that martial arts training has given me over 25 years has helped me through some difficult times. Times when you're lonely, times when you think people aren't rallying around you for whatever reason. Martial arts training is always there. Whether that be your instructor, whether that be the art itself, whichever art, whether it be the group of people that you enjoy spending time with week after week. And now that's been taken away from you, from us, we might find it difficult to kind of find a reason to continue. And that's what this whole conversation's about, I think. Let's just cross this road. All right. So I'm going to start at the beginning and kind of get through without too much delay, but try and get through to where we are now and what sort of made me who I am and made our club what it is. So, as a kid, I remember watching stuff on telly like wrestling or boxing. There might have been a bit of kickboxing on telly back then. I can't remember it maybe, but that could be, you know, false memories, implanted ones perhaps. So I remember watching the Olympics as well once, and it was a judo. And I thought watching the judo was amazing. And around that time there was, I don't know, Blue Peter or News Round or, I don't know, Saturday morning telly. And this chap, Brian Jacks, was, I don't know, I remember him being on these TV shows demonstrating judo. So that's 40 years ago or something like that. So I do remember wanting to do martial arts from a young age. So I got my parents to enroll me in judo at school. There was a judo club with what I considered then an old man to be the teacher. Reality is that he may well have been same age as I am now, but I'm way leaner, way fitter, way stronger than he was. The judo that I learned back then was really helpful. I still remember it today, some of the basic moves, and we use those still in our classes when we get a chance to practice break falls. And for the adults, maybe when we do some of the silat stuff that we've done, I've added in a little bit of the judo stuff too. But it's all basic colour belt stuff. It's just that I remember it. Likewise, I hope either my current juniors or colour belt adults, if for whatever reason you had to stop training in taekwondo, I do hope the absolute basics of low block, middle block, high block, rising block, front kick, middle punch, front kick, turning kick, side kick, back kick, reverse turning kick. I do hope that all those absolute basics would stay with you. So moving on, I stopped judo
Don't know why. As a child I probably got bored. And then I started it again at about age 13. Maybe 12, I don't know. I think I only did a year of it again. Because the people that had stopped, the people that had kept going when I had stopped, had got really good. So maybe subconsciously, that's what's always on my mind. If you stop training, people will surpass you, and you won't perhaps reap all the benefits of what's available to you. So yeah, I completely stopped all those martial arts training until I got to about 20 or 21. So my teenage years, physically, could have been put to better use. Did lots of sport at school, but I perhaps always had the attitude back then that I'm just not strong enough. I'm just not fit enough. I'm just not quick enough or fast enough or good enough. Rather than thinking, I'm not strong enough yet. And adding that yet on the end has been a game changer for me and hopefully for you. So I ended up at Dundee University studying psychology amongst other things at the time. So Scottish University, you do 3 subjects, or you did back then anyway, and then you, after 2 years, you then do 1 subject as your degree, and psychology was my degree. That first year of uni, like my teenage years, could have been put to better use, perhaps. Or maybe it was what needed to happen to push me in the right direction. So the first year of uni, kept up okay with my work, didn't do any physical exercise, lots of late nights, lots of unnecessary takeaways, meant that by the end of the year, none of my clothes fitted. So I wore tracksuits. However, that was an important year. I met 2 people who, even though I don't see them more than once a year, if that nowadays, are or have been my best friends and the 2 most influential people in my life, certainly at that time. Chris and Alpha. We had a lot of good partying times, but importantly, Alpha was a couple of years older than me. He might have been 24, and he had spent something like the last 10 years training in Kung Fu in East End of London somewhere. And Chris had started training in taekwondo with the university. That's one of the uni clubs, with a group called the GTF, the Global Taekwondo Federation. Meeting these 2 guys, they kept saying that I should go along training, go to taekwondo, or come train some kung fu. And then I don't know what happened. Maybe they said, quick, there's a guy who started an ITF club, but it's not part of the university. It's just, it's a club that uses the university facilities, but it's not part of the uni's group of clubs. I went in to have a look at what was going on, and I saw this guy, same age as me, do these amazing kicks that you might see in movies back then. Jumping reverse turning kicks they were at the time. Jumping turning kicks, I mean, it was pretty good, I've got to say. I mean, he was the person that I saw and thought, I want some of that. Not talk too much here because they'll think I'm mad. And just get past these people. I do. Where was I? Okay, jumping reverse turning kicks, yeah. So I saw this dude do some stuff, and I thought, oh, right, that looks very cool. I want to do some of that. The next class was a Friday evening. Now, Friday evenings, that's a big thing when you're 20. That was a night out. So I went along and he told me to watch. I wasn't allowed to take part, I could only watch. He wanted to see if I would stay. I stayed for the whole session, I watched the whole thing. I said I'd be back next week. He said, great, you're welcome. Something happened the next week. I think, I don't know, I think Nikki had to go to the doctor, I don't know. Something happened which meant that I couldn't go. So I got a message to him and he got a message back to me saying, yeah, whatever. Just give up now, something along those lines. You're not going to stick at it because it's Friday night and all you want to do is go out. So anyway, I proved him wrong completely. Proved him wrong completely. Jumping forward a little bit, I remember being a first down and he was a second or third down. Can't remember. We were sparring him. I was sparring him, and I remember thinking, I knew something was happening. And I remember thinking, this is the last time I'm going to spar you. And our instructor at the time gave you a 10-second countdown. And I remember being on the 3, 2, and I said to myself, on that one, I'm going to go for him. Boom. Side turning kick. Or, yeah, it's a thrusting kick actually. A bit like a turning kick. Straight into his face. And I thought, yep, job done, move on. Anyway, jumping back. So yeah, I went back to those classes the following week and I was at the back of the hall and I said to myself, I'm going to be the best one here. By hard work. I decided that I could improve. I looked like a proper uncoordinated so-and-so. Because I asked my friend Alpha, who was pretty trick at the time, he could do all the kicks after 10, 12 years of Kung Fu. He could do all that stuff. And I said, yeah, how am I looking? How are the kicks looking? He said, yeah, you could improve. So it was him and Chris, Alpha and Chris, who said, you might not be able to do it now, but if you keep trying and keep following the instructions and keep training, that was the key word. I hadn't heard that word training before in my life. So I heard that word training. So I heeded their advice and I trained. I then set a goal of training an hour every day. That was at white belt. And I trained 1 hour every day, as well as the days I went to class. So I think I might have had a day off on a Sunday. So let's say 10 hours of training a week from white belt. And slowly I improved the grades, and slowly the higher grades kind of fell away because they had what they considered better things to do. So I found myself at the front right of the class as a green belt, and then the instructor at the time said, "Oh, by the way, I'm closing the class." I don't know why. Anyway, he then said to a few of us, "You can come with me to another instructor in Scotland." And that was 40 miles away from my living location. So I said, "Why can't we tell the others?" And he said, "I don't want them there." I wasn't that happy about it, so I told all the others. I think that was the right thing to do. Anyway, I told them and they made their own decision not to bother going because it was 40 miles away. So they went out and started drinking McEwen's Export or whatever it was at the time. And I thought, well, I'm lucky enough to have a car. I'll make the sacrifice and go training. So there I was, found myself driving 80 miles twice a week, so 160 miles a week, to go to a taekwondo class run by a 4th degree at the time. He is now Master McNairn, and although he wouldn't realise it, certainly in my time in Scotland, he was very much a father figure for me at that time, and I have a lot to owe for. The way I teach the classes now is still perhaps a little bit of how I learned to behave back then. Anyway, there I was. I found myself travelling through literally snowstorms to get to class, because I thought if I don't get there, I'm not going to be as good as I can be. And something was driving me. I don't know what it was, but something made me have to get there. I did it twice a week for the rest of my uni life, and then I did a master's degree, so I carried on then, and then I got a job working for the university as a lecturer, and then I got a job working in Edinburgh, which meant that as much as I tried, I couldn't make the 140-mile one-way trip from Edinburgh to Montrose regularly enough for me to continue my training under the instructor just there. So once a week I went to an instructor in Leith in Edinburgh. His name was John McKissick, Master McKissick now, and I went there once a week, or maybe twice, depending on work, and I tried to do once a week at a place in a bit further south of Montrose called Arbroath, and that was one of the Montrose black belts, Mark Davis. So I had a few instructors under my belt, but I always asked David McNairn for his help and advice at the time. Strange person here. Looks like they're looking for a dog. Yeah, nip off to the left here. So there I was, the first Dan, training all over the country. So I remember travelling for 7 hours with Mark Davis, David McNairn, and a few others up there who are still doing it now. It's unusual for people to be around. It's obviously work from home day. So that was, oh, what was I, 25 maybe, 24, 25, 25 must have been, 5 years, yeah. So I suppose what I'm getting at is I trained all the time, as much as I could. And Alpha and Chris kept me on the straight and narrow, I would say. Alpha and Chris kept keeping it real. So even though I was what I consider a black belt in martial arts, Alpha and Chris regularly beat me up. So we used to play these games, maybe it was a Friday night, maybe it was a Saturday night out. We used to play these games where one of us used to walk in the room or walk into their house and get ambushed. And we had to fight them off. I'm pretty sure once I was, maybe I'm just imagining it, but I'm pretty sure once I had my head put in a pillowcase and I had to fight both Chris and Alpha off, effectively blindfolded. But it was fun. We used to do lots of ad hoc training, and I think that was the best thing for me, because what it taught me was you can't just go to class. Going to class is where you get a bit of inspiration, hopefully. It's where you get corrected from the practice mistakes that you have been doing.